Whoa, 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 at the break of the rising dawn, as the night's last shadows are gone, a spark ignites across the sky. Truth comes rolling in high. Hear the drum of the unheard. Feel the power of the word. We rise from dark to light, cut through the lies, ignite. Truth breaking through the noise, justice in our voice. From the silence to the fight. This is dawn and justice, let's rise. Across the wire, through the storm, we won't conform, we won't be warned. Every voice, every sign, we draw the waking line. Screens light up, the message clear. No more running, no more fear. From the ashes, from the night, we carry forward burning light. Dark to light, night to dawn. Truth lives on. We press on. We rise from dark to light, cut through the lies, ignite. Truth breaking through the noise, justice in our voice. From the silence to the fight, we stand together in the light. This is dawning justice, let's rise. This is dawning justice, let's rise.
Good morning, everyone, and this is Dawning Justice, and I am Josh Taylor, the Justice Cometh, and welcome in this morning. Gosh, guys, we had a full weekend of news this weekend. It just seems like everything is popping off like left, right, up, down. I mean, our friends are turning into non-friends, and our non-friends are actually turning into our friends a little bit. So, welcome in, everyone. And we are broadcasting from Rumble. So I love my Rumblers out there. And we're also broadcasting from X this morning. So thank you so much. And our new platforms are starting to take off as well. YouTube and Facebook are up and rolling. I've already got some love over there. We already got some people in the chats over there. So welcome in. And if you're returning to Dawning Justice, you'll see that my chat over here is a little different. We've went back to the full screen chat where everybody gets funneled in to the same exact chat, even my peeps over there on pilled.net. So thank you. And guys, if you're over there sleeping on pilled.net and you're just like rubbing your eyes open and you're opening up my show, make sure you drop me a little chat and say, hey, I'm here. Because I see you guys watching, but it's like y'all are really quiet in the morning. So, but that's okay. So anyway, so thank you so much for our Pilled family as well. So if you're over on Rumble, give us that thumbs up. because that helps us out so much. And hit that little repost button. If you're over on X, you know what to do, guys. X is my fam. I love my X peeps. Give me that heart and share the show out by reposting it. It's real easy on X. So if you could do that for me, I very much appreciate it. And like I said, if you're over in Pilled, if you're one of my red pillars over there, hit that red pill, hit that repost, and let's get going. YouTube as well. Thumbs up, share out the show, and Facebook as well. So guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning. So we've got a full slate going on today. I've got some news from Real AF Patriot. Hey Jennifer, over there on X, I ain't seen you in a hot minute over in the chat, and we'll go through the chats here in just a second. But like I said, I've got a full slate of stuff. You know, we've got a bunch of stuff from Real AF Patriot. We've got some election fraud stuff. We've got some riders, and I'm looking down at my notes. Gosh, guys, we've got Stephen Miller news. We've got Ukraine news. You know, Trump, the epic Trump interview from yesterday. So we're going to play clips of it too. So and we've also got a new article from Real AF Patriot in our Truth or Media Substack. And if we have some time, we're going to go through it because I really want to read it because it's really good. So I don't know if you guys know that or not, but Real AF Patriot is one of our contributors to our Substack on Truth or Media. So, and I will show you guys later on how to check that out. But don't forget, today's episode is brought to you by justicestreams.com and justicepetclub.com. And we'll go over that a little bit later, but just remember, if you want to turn your check engine light off and your pet's check engine light off, go to justicestreams.com and justicepetclub.com to get your body and their body back in balance. All right, so let me get all my stuff pulled up. I think my chats are working. I just want to make sure everything is going smooth, and I'm going to write a little test in Facebook. Let's see if it pops up there on the screen. Boom. We are in everywhere. So awesome. Actually, let's go through our chats real quick. So, you know, guys, I make notes like every morning because my brain is not what it used to be. I'm approaching 50. And I forget things all the time. So let's go through our Facebook chat first. Lana says, good morning. And Tracy Anise also says, good morning. So thank you over there. And we've already got some love over there from both of those individuals. So thank you guys so much. And Wade Farm Studios is checking into YouTube this morning. So thank you over there. And gosh, my X chat is already going off this morning. So Lana was the first one to check in over on X saying good morning. And Purchase Jack over there on X. Good morning, Josh. Hope you're well. Let me tell you something. You didn't see me a whole lot on X. You probably saw Tracy more than me, actually. We needed a little recharge after last week. You know, our daughter had the grandbaby a couple of weeks ago, but the husband had to go out of town and provide for the family and working. So that left our daughter alone with not one, not two, but three little ones under 3 years old. And she also had a C-section. So she needed a little help last week. So she stayed with us last week with all the grandbabies and the little one. So we don't know what this week holds just yet. I know that she is on the mend through everybody's prayers out there. So thank you. And Tracy did keep her sanity last week. So that is a wonderful thing as well. So everybody, thank you so much for your prayers out there. We are ready to rock and roll this week. So Kanon Andrea coming in, reposting the stream, and Seth Larrabee, part of our Truth or Media team, also reposting the stream. And Kanon Andrea is also one of our mod team for Truth or Media. So Cindy Rocks 260, good morning to all patriots and all the lefties and illegals. They're coming to take you away. Ha ha, hee hee, ho ho. to the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. Absolutely. Um, that was awesome. So thank you for that. Yeet Force also checking in to Xland over there, part of our Truther Media mod team. And he says, good morning and welcome in on the way in. Share and repost. And also check out our sponsors for the show, justicepetclub.com. So thank you, sir. Like I said, Jennifer, good morning to you over there on X. And let's see here, who else we got checking in here? Jennifer, thank you for the repost. Cynthia checking in, and Kelly B checking in to X as well. So sometimes my X peeps funnel in a little bit late because I don't get to set up a show on X. I think they're kind of working on that stuff. So you have to kind of catch me when I hit the live button. So let's go through our Rumble chat real quick. And our Rumblers, I was sitting here this morning pulling news because I get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning pulling news. And it was like 45 minutes before the show starts. And I've got all my chats already pulled up, on the screen, getting them all ready. And Carrie Girl popped in at like 30 to 45 minutes before, says, good morning. She wanted to be very first in. She is on the way to the beach this morning. So welcome, Carrie Girl. Yeet Force also checking in over there. USAID paid, says, wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. And so he is part of our Truther Media mod team over there. Nana2112 checking in. Good morning. Tense15, good morning. And Debbie V57. And who else we got? 97, good morning. And Mrs. B623. Alanita0711, American GG also checking in, saying good morning. And let's see here. And I think I'm caught up. I think everybody's still waking up a little bit, but that's okay. So, one thing that I'm going to do. So, you know what? We've been taking these mushrooms and I've been trying to get on track, but guys, let's just face it, I'm a little overweight. So, to say the least, I'm almost 6'1", and I measured myself this morning, and I am at 275. I'm a big dude. I mean, I'm not a small dude, but I'm not huge, but I'm a big dude. So here's what I'm going to do. I need some accountability with myself. I need accountability in what I eat and what I put in my body. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to report out every morning on my weight. And if I cheated or if I had a candy bar or something like that, I'm going to report out on it. So I've got to make myself accountable. And I think that's a great way to do it, to share my journey with you on getting back healthy. Because it's one thing to reset your check engine light. Okay. I get it. But I also have to get healthy too, because I do have blood pressure issues. I have heart issues, if you don't know. I inherited them from my mother, God rest her soul. So thank you so much for, you're going to hold me accountable, guys. I need some help. It's hard. It's like, Tracy was like, I just don't understand, what's so hard about, not eating. And I said, well, she smokes. And I said, well, that'd be like me putting a pack of cigarettes right down in front of you and saying, hey, what's so hard about not smoking? Don't smoke them. I mean, it's that easy. So she gets it though. She knows, and she knows that. Yeet says I'm 6'2" and at 200 right now, so I feel you, dude. Dude, you are skinny compared to me. Cindy Rocks 260 says, you got this, Josh. Jennifer says, I will do it with you. I need to lose some menopause weight. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much for your support. So I will be reporting out every morning. Now, I know that the weight fluctuates a little bit. I get it. At one point in my journey, gosh, I think it was about 10, 12 years ago, I got up to 305 pounds. I was huge. But I started running every day. I started working out every day. I started eating right. And in 6 months, I dropped all that weight to 205. Now, when you get married and you're happy and you're content, sometimes you kind of eat a little bit. So I think that's where I'm at. I'm very happy. I'm very content. And I'm kind of letting some stuff slide a little bit. I'm eating too many Snickers bars or, man, guys, the soft Chips Ahoy cookies. Oh, but I know that stuff is not good for me, so I've got to quit eating it. So thank you, everybody, for your support out there. All right, so real quick, before we get into the news and things like that, I like to go through the daily devotional, and I like to go through a quick coffee break with Mike over the guys at Hunter's Blend Coffee. So let's go ahead and start our daily devotional. Signal Over Noise says, in the waiting. And guys, I want you to really join me Tuesday night with Tracy and I for Fellowship in the Word at 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, because it's going to be so important. This is going to be a very powerful message, and it's about this very thing right here. So again, Signal Over Noise says, in the waiting. It's easy to sing hallelujah when prayers are answered, when doors open, when healing comes, when blessings overflow, when life makes sense. But faith is revealed in a different way when we whisper hallelujah through the tears, when the diagnosis hasn't changed, when the prodigal hasn't come, when the storm still rages, when the waiting feels endless, when the road is darker than we expected. Anyone can praise God for what he gives. But worship reaches a deeper place when we praise him simply because of who he is. The same God who walks with us on this mountaintop walks beside us in the valley. The same God who celebrates our victories holds us through our heartbreaks. The same God who parts seas also sits with us in silence. And his goodness is not determined by our circumstances. His faithfulness is not measured by our comfort. His love is not diminished by our pain. Sometimes the most powerful hallelujah is not shouted from the place of victory. It is whispered from the place of trust. A trust says, Lord, I don't understand the season, but I still trust you. I don't see the answers yet, but I still believe. The storm hasn't ended, but I know you are here. Though he slay me, yet I will trust in him. And that's Job 13:15. So today, when you're standing on the mountaintop or walking through a valley, lift your eyes, take a breath, and offer your hallelujah even here. And for those just listening and not watching, this is her graphic that she made. And it says, I don't understand this season, but I still trust you. The diagnosis hasn't changed. The storm hasn't ended. The answer hasn't come. The pain is real. But God's presence has not left. And that is enough for today. Some of my deepest praise has come from my darkest days. I may be in the valley, but I know the Good Shepherd walks with me. I will lift my eyes and my hands and my heart anyways. I will praise you in the waiting, in the weeping, in the wondering, because you are still good. His plans, his timing, his ways, perfect. That was good. Hey, Spammer Girl, thank you for checking in over there on X, along with Janie over there. I see you guys checking in over there. Fire and 8, thank you for checking in. Cassie J checking in. Dieter7757 checking in over there on a Rumble as well. So K9 Andrea also checking in over on a Rumble. So thank you so much, guys. That was excellent. You know, your faith is really tested through the heartaches, the money problems. But what you don't see in the background, you don't see what God is doing for you. Because although He may not be directly working on you, maybe He's getting something else that you're fixing to experience ready for somebody else. It's all connected. Your life is connected to others out there. When you're down, somebody else may be up. And their fortune may turn into your fortune. People are connected at the hips. Hey, Dixie, good morning. Welcome over there on pilled.net for checking in. So thank you so much. I mean, just like this too, you know, Tracy and I were talking about our message, and I don't want to spoil it, but when you're waiting on something and praying on something and waiting for these results, God just doesn't hear you. He doesn't know what you he doesn't don't know what you need. So we let Trump cook. Well, why don't we let God cook? Because everything's in His timing, and His timing is perfect. All right, Mike, at the guys at Hunter's Blend Coffee, he says, I'm not saying I'm thriving, but I did put my pants on before coffee today. That is growth. And let's watch this clip. Our good friends at Hunter's Blend Coffee.
Well, I had 3 goals this morning. Get out of bed, put my pants on, and drink coffee. And so far, I'm batting 1,000. I'm having another one. I ain't driving.
Thanks, Mike, for that. I very much appreciate that. So if you want to check out a Patriot-owned company that delivers excellent coffee, go to dawningcoffee.com and use my promo code TracingJustice, all one word, for 10% off your first order. Hey, making it make sense. Thank you for checking over there on YouTube. I very much appreciate that. Let me make sure I haven't missed anybody real quick. Give me just 1 second, guys. Let me go back through the news or through the chats here. Real News Headquarters, thank you for checking in over there on X. Thank you so much. And let's see here. Who else we got? Deborah, thank you for checking in over there on X as well. So let's see here. Bibby's Barn, Bibbs, thank you for checking in this morning. I appreciate that. And I think that we are caught up. So give me just 1 second, guys. I'm going to do something real quick on my end over here on X. Guys, I really think that this is going to be a great, great week for disclosure. Because I'm telling you what, guys, it's hitting on all angles this morning and all angles this weekend. It's just absolutely insane what's going on. Josh, look at the oversight committee. That's by Spam Girl. Let me look at that. Oversight committee. I'm reading, guys. Give me just 1 second. See, Oversight Committee said breaking. We just released a bombshell report exposing how Governor Tim Walz and AG Keith Ellison fueled Minnesota's fraud explosion. $9 billion in Medicaid lost. Holy moly, guys. I'll come back to that, Spammy. Thank you for letting me know about that. All right, so let's dive into the news. Guys, watch California. Q was so spot on when it said, watch California. There is so much fraud, I guess. They can't hide it anymore. It's so blatantly obvious. Hey, CJ, thank you for checking in over there on X. I very much appreciate that. It's so obvious now. They can't operate in the shadows anymore. I mean, the fraud is on full freaking display right now. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows how they do it now. That's the first battle. Hey, OK Patriot 10 over there on Rumble. Thank you for checking in. That's the first battle. That's what we have to get through first. That's why all this process is so agonizing. It's because we know all of this. But sometimes you got to come out of your little bubble. Sometimes you got to come out of your little circle and kind of peek your head out like the groundhog and take a look around and see what's going on in like, out of computer world, as Tracy calls it, and in real life and what the real people are talking about. Guys are just finding out this stuff, especially the left. So we have to be able to speak to all of this and point out the hypocrisy. Gunther reports, how far gone is LA? It's completely off of the rails. Legalized fraud, ballot harvesting on steroids, mail-in ballots dumped in every person in the area. Surprise, surprise. Ramen is magically overtaking Spencer Pratt with the flood of shady late mail-ins. Pass the Save America Act before we lose America.
In LA. They've got feces all over the streets. Homelessness is rampant. There's vagrants plaguing that city, and yet it looks like the city is still going to choose Nithya Raman, who is to the left of a Cuban-trained Marxist. That is how far gone LA is. But of course, we know that there is legalized fraud in California as well. They allow for ballot harvesting. They do not clean their voter rolls. They send mail-in ballots to every single person in that state. They have tons of drop box locations which have been vandalized recently. So there is tons of legalized fraud, room for error, and obviously we're seeing that error play out, and we saw it play out last night. I feel terribly for Spencer Pratt. If I were an Angelino, I'd be very, very upset right now.
And you heard Spencer Pratt say, look, I'm going to do the ballot harvesting too. If it's allowed, I'm going to get in on the game too. But obviously, based upon the numbers we see right now, there may not be enough. But again, counting continues. And continues. Chloe Trapanado, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, the Knicks and Spurs getting ready to face off in Game 3 of the NBA.
Hey, Mary calling up. Good morning. J2 Dank, thank you for checking in over there on Pilled. And Mary's coming in on Rumble. So thank you so much for that. Rhea also checking in over there on Rumble. So thank you so much, my friends. We knew this was going to happen. We knew it was all going to happen. Tense15 says, eyes and ears to see and hear, just like your handle, justice cometh, buckle up. Absolutely. Thank you, Spammer Girl Q, for checking in. She is our Facebook manager over there on Tracing Justice and part of our Truther Media mod team. And Danny B, thank you for checking in over there on YouTube. We knew this was going to happen. Q said, watch CA for a reason. We just didn't know when or what or how. I believe all of the drops are now coming to life right in front of our eyes. We're going to have some more on this election fraud. I just want to keep going with this. Elon says the reason ID is banned in California and New York elections is to enable large-scale fraud. When you combine no ID and mail-in voting, fraud is de facto legalized.
Here's how the vote count is moving. Each point shows a candidate's share as votes are counted. The slider tracks the updates from latest to earliest. Hover over a point for detailed info.
Okay, did you see that graph? I wish I had a still of it. Did you see? Let me see if I can pull up this graph real quick. Give me just 1 second. Because this is mathematically impossible. All of this is mathematically impossible. Hey, Real AF Patriot checking into our Rumble chat. So thank you so much. But like I said, it's mathematically impossible, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see if I can find this graph. Dang, there it is right there. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Give me just 1 second. I should have had this pulled up for you. But it just shows the hypocrisy of everything that is happening. All right, here we go. So, you see there's a downward trend in Spencer Pratt, and look at Rahman. And even Ruth Bass is going down. But Rahman is like somehow, some way about to overtake Spencer Pratt. There's a little thing called the law of averages and numbers, okay? When you get remember me talking the other day about cruise control, about these election machines. You'll get your initial dump of these ballots in, and even if these machines are not connected to the internet, they have what they call a cruise control on them, and they already have the predetermined numbers, but the computer just has to figure out by switching votes here or doing it here, and do the election officials double and triple count these ballots coming in. It's a huge racket. And as you can see right here, it's mathematically impossible what's happening. Hey, Jeff, thank you for checking in on Rumble over there. I appreciate it. It's mathematically impossible what's happening right now. Sarah said over there on X, do you think Cali voters will acknowledge the number impossibilities? Absolutely. There's going to be no way around it. Hey, Julie Donuts, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble. Let's see here. Trump retruth this. Might want to go through it. Election Crime Bureau, the big lie. You never presented evidence at the 2020. Yeah, I saw that just a little bit ago, Julie. I've got a lot of election news to go through. But Elon is pushing, hey, this ain't right, guys. We need to investigate it. And if you didn't know, Trump last week, I think it was Thursday or Friday, sent election officials over to Los Angeles to count these, to oversee the counting of these ballots. Ladies and gentlemen, they have no choice but to cheat now. And and it's so obvious now. The fight to keep the lights off is all that matters to them right now. It's everything, because once the lights come on and the whole world in the United States see everything that's going on, you might think that the lights are on. But they're not yet. That's why you got to step out of your bubble sometimes and look around in real life and what people are saying. They're just waking up to this stuff. And this is a huge red pill on what's going on. So let's keep trucking through the election news. So we say, well, how are we going to get Spencer Pratt in? And I'm going to link some things in with what Julie's been saying too, okay? So I said, timing is everything. Remember Pratt? I looked to Monday or Tuesday, and I quoted leading report. Supreme Court to soon rule on state laws allowing a flood of mail-in ballots after Election Day per Fox News. Think about that. So what are the Democrats doing right now? After they said it was going to take weeks to count these votes. Well, now miraculously, they're up to like 85% or 83% or something like that. Here is my prediction. They are going to, in the next day or so, they're going to call this election. They're saying, yep, all the votes have come in. They are counted, and Rahman has taken the second place seat, and we are finalizing everything. They're going to rush to get this thing certified now. Now that they've got the numbers that they want, they can put in the last drops of ballots in to make it look like that Rahman barely squeaked out. Hey, KC, thank you for checking in. That you are in early over there in your time zone, so thank you so much for checking in to Dawning Justice this morning on Rumble. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So they're going to flood the zone now. They're going to get all these ballots come in. It's going to be up to 100% in no time. And they're going to make it look like that Rahman barely edged out Pratt. But what is the Supreme Court going to do? They're going to come in. They are the supreme law of the land. They're going to come in and they're going to say, every mail-in ballot that has been received in these elections needs to be null and void. You're not going to be able to count them. Because we have election day for a reason. Not an election season, not an election 2 weeks, but an election day. How is it that we can count in Florida alone in 2024, they had the results of every election by 9 p.m. 9 p.m., folks. Same night. That's 2 hours after polls close. But yet we're in Los Angeles still counting votes. It's because of places like Runbeck that continually keep counting votes and keep ballot harvesting and keep printing off these votes. Q also pointed us to Secretary of State offices for a reason. Whoever controls the governorship also appoints a Secretary of State. Why do you think that they want these governorships so bad? They've got to hang on to these Democrat-run cities. It is their hubs of operation. Benny Johnson said, how did Democrats make election fraud legal in California? We investigated. This is insane. Check this out. And this is a lengthy video, guys, but I believe that it's well put together. And let's listen in to Benny Johnson and crew.
I want to quickly break down how California has codified voter fraud into their state constitution and how this allows Democrats to rig any race they want across the state. And of course, this is a lesson in why we must pass the SAVE Act immediately. California libtards will tell you that the reason why it's taking so long to count the votes in California is because they have 15 million votes to count. This is the number for the 2024 election, but that argument is, of course, destroyed when you look over at Texas, which counted 11.3 million votes in one night, and Florida, which counted nearly 11 million votes by close of polls, 7 p.m. By 9 p.m., 99% of the vote was counted in Florida. This is, of course, failure by design. California took weeks to resolve the 2024 election. We waited for months to figure out who was going to represent certain districts.
Hey, Freedom, thank you for checking in on X.
The California election fraud machine kicked into high gear. And what is that exactly? Well, it's a machine that doesn't do voter ID, so we have no idea who's actually voting, and it's a machine that allows for votes to come in forever, permanently after Election Day. You can see here from the Secretary of State's website, California primary election. We're going to let ballots be delivered all the way through to July 10th, 2026. That's when we'll finally certify the results. 5 whole weeks after the election. But it gets so much worse. Anybody can deliver any amount of ballots that they want in California. And given the fact that they mail ballots to every single voter, that means you can just walk in with a bag of ballots. Nobody asks you where you got them, and you carry them in to this dark room and dump them into a dark box. No questions asked. That's literally the law in California. And that's why the elections look like this. Just pallets of ballots stacked, overflowing inside of the Postal Service in these dingy boxes. Just piles of ballots everywhere. Nobody knows where they came from. Nobody knows who voted. There's no voter ID. And more importantly, there's no address. Now, we went viral earlier this year by posting a video from a toilet that had 26 people registered at it in Los Angeles. This toilet has people voting at it, even though there's no business here, there's no residences here. You can't live here, but you can vote here. We were, of course, fact-checked and found false by PolitiFact for showing that there was voter fraud in California because 26 people were registered to a toilet. Why is this false? And why did we not dispute this? Because they're right. Look at this from the Secretary of State. In California, this is where your mind is about to be blown. Secretary of State, voters experiencing homelessness, fact sheet. Let's read. If you're unable to use an address when you register to vote, just describe the location where you live so it's clear enough for our county election officials to find your voting precinct. You may use a cross street. You may use a park. You could use a Burger King parking lot, the dumpster out back as your address. This ensures that you can receive an accurate election material based on where you live. California straight up allows anybody to register from anywhere. You can register from, and it says so right here on the Secretary of State's website, a park, a public park can be where you get your ballot. Or a crossroad. You can live underneath a stop sign. You can live, of course, in a piss-soaked meth den tent under a freeway, and they'll deliver you a ballot. They'll send someone to deliver you a ballot. So this is the law in California. And with no voter ID and with hundreds of thousands of homeless zombies roaming the streets on super meth, you can imagine that there are hundreds of thousands of ballots that are delivered to people, picked up mysteriously, voted for, no voter ID, no signature required, and dropped off in their mysterious little black voting centers in order to give you pallets of ballots that look like this. You can never find out who's voting. You can't find out where they come from. And by the way, the voter fraud literally takes place right on your screen. Here is CNN. For the last recall election, Gavin Newsom, check this out. You can literally watch the vote counter change in real time for the people saying Gavin Newsom should be recalled, went down by 300,000, and the people saying he should went up by 300,000. Wow. It's just magic. So certainly a mix of machines and then pallets of ballots being delivered, and that is exactly why Nikki Rahman, who nobody likes, nobody cares about, nobody can even spell her name, who is one of the least popular politicians in the country, along with Karen Bass, are getting these mysterious giant ballot dumps that go 100% for the number 2 candidate. Isn't that interesting? Because it'd be mathematically impossible at the same percentage rates for Nikki Rahman to overtake Spencer Pratt here. But because they keep increasing the number of ballots that you can vote with by increasing the number of ballots that are out in the homeless encampments or wherever, the parks, the street corners, well, this is how you get it. Genuine question, how is it even mathematically possible for Nikki Rahman to overtake? If Bass keeps even roughly her current pace, which she has, Rahman would need 60% of the remaining ballots in order to pass him. That's an enormous late break margin. Am I missing something? Yeah, you're missing the way that California votes. And that's why you see the percentages increasing the number of ballots that are outstanding. The more they count, the less they count. Do you understand? The more they count, the less percentage of expected votes are actually counted. They keep increasing the number of votes or just straight up deleting them. This is why far left-wing Nikki Rahman, who was sobbing on election night, is probably whistling Dixie right now because she didn't quite understand the power of the Democrat machine. This is why the prediction markets are now skyrocketing, because they do understand the power of the Democrat machine. So does Democrat Katie Porter, who gave a perfect answer here when she was asked, why would you need anybody to vote for you who's a Republican? Listen to this.
Of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump.
How would I need them in order to win?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're doing.
In a general election?
Yes.
She says this out of confidence. This is, of course, a horrible answer for any politician to make. Yeah, no, I don't want your vote. I hate your vote. She says this because she's a Democrat in California. And she can get away with it. She's a Democrat in California, and she knows that Republican votes don't matter. They'll just make up the votes because the way the elections are counted and structured. Florida processed more than 10 million votes in a matter of hours. California takes days or weeks to count the votes, says Ron DeSantis. It's pathetic and corrosive to our civic culture. That is, of course, correct. Nate Silver even calling it out, saying that California votes like the third world, like a failed state. When Nate Silver is calling out your fraud, you got a real problem. But don't expect any apologies from the man who made it all possible.
Unbelievable. Calling out a couple people that's checked in while that video was on. rpierce17 over there on Rumble. Thank you for checking in. Truther Media checking in. Who is on Truther Media's account this morning? So welcome in, Truther Media. I very much appreciate you checking in as well. Let's see who else we got. Kathy checking in over there on YouTube, so thank you so much for that. Freedom Fire also checking in, part of our Truther Media team over there on X, so thank you. Jennifer Carolina Girl dumps into a black hole. Reminds me of Black Hole Sun, the song. Absolutely. Huh. It's craziness going on right now, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute craziness. So let's piece some stuff together. So the Supreme Court is about to rule on mail-in ballots received after Election Day. Hey, Seafair, thank you for checking in over there on pill.net. And Mrs. Mindy Evans, thank you for checking in on pill.net. I appreciate that. So they're fixing to rule on receiving ballots after Election Day. Huh. We know from Julie and others that a national emergency is going to be declared in the United States of America on elections. I understand we've got the SAVE Act out there. We do need the SAVE Act. They are not going to pass the SAVE Act, ladies and gentlemen. Because once they do, 80-90% of Congress will go away. The jig will be up for them. That is their last line of defense. They are not going to give you the SAVE Act. I hate to tell you that. So how are we going to get around all this stuff? Well, we've had the redistricting going on. The Supreme Court's fixing to come in about these mail-in ballots received after Election Day. Yeah, Julie Donut says national security emergency for elections. Hey, Whip and Spur, thank you for joining us over there on Rumble. I appreciate that. Also, Freedom Fire checking in over there on Rumble too. Thank you. We're going to have an EO come down. Hey, Glenn, thank you for checking in over there on YouTube. We're going to have an EO come in. It's already written, people. I don't like to say that we have inside information, but we have sources that do work with the Trump administration. Truth or Media does have sources that do work with the Trump administration. Law enforcement officials that work with the Trump administration. Contractors that work with the Trump administration. They are telling us that the EO is already written. It's been written for months. Timing is everything. So when my sources are telling me that the CO was written, and Julie's coming in and saying, yep, my sources are telling me as well that this EO has already been written and it's been collabed on with law enforcement. It's been collabed on with judges. It's been collabed on with the NSA. It's been collabed on with, the FBI and everything. That this thing is going to be locked down. That, my friends, is how the midterms will be safe. Because guess what? We have the Supreme Court now. The Supreme Court, at the end of the day, will vote constitutionally on elections. I believe that we're going to have to get through these midterms first before we see any remedy on the 2020 election. I could be wrong. I'm just kind of reading the tea leaves out there. I'm just trying to put two and two together, what I'm seeing out there, what everybody's, all the information that's coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, this stuff is right around the corner. Donald Trump has went on camera this past weekend talking about hammering how all these elections are fraudulent. Real AF Patriot, Julie, Truther Media, KC, Freedom Fire, everybody, AJP, have all been hammering the 2020 election. Hey, Eagle Nash 107, thank you for checking in over there on X. It's coming, people. Justice is coming. Justice cometh. All right, let's move on to some other news. Randy Quaid says, Trump is my hero. What a great POTUS. Thank you, real Donald Trump. I believe you can start using the full weight of the federal government against this public corruption. They're not Democrats, they're crooks. You have America's support to clean up the corruption and hold them accountable for their crimes. So, what have I said that half the battle is? The battle of public opinion. How do you get the public on your side to start prosecuting all of these crimes and crimes against humanity, election fraud? You have to have the people on your side. Now you say, if we keep hammering out all this evidence that everything has been stolen from us, how are we going to get an impartial jury? You don't need an impartial jury with a military tribunal. You don't need a military or you don't need a impartial jury with the military tribunal on treason. Yeah, Dixie, over there on pill.net, they've been brainwashed. Absolutely. CJ's over on X says, would EBS and Fallout cause midterms to not matter? I don't know. You know, that's one thing about Truth or Media. We can speculate all day long, but we don't know for sure. Is there a scenario where the elections could be delayed? Absolutely, there's a scenario. What if a flood of information comes out from Bill Pute and saying, look, guys, we've got our elections are broken. We cannot proceed with these elections as it is. We can't do it. There is remedies and there is ways, but the Supreme Court is going to have to get involved. Now you see why Trump in Trump Admin V1 concentrated on the Supreme Court. We had to have control of the Supreme Court. We had to do this by the book. Everything has got to be done by the book. Trump just can't come out and say, whoop, we're delaying all the elections. He does not have the authority to do that. But with the combination of executive orders, with the combination of fraud being revealed, Trump has a fast track. Not a lot of people know this, but he has a fast track option into the Supreme Court. He can get the Supreme Court to look at something right away. They can do that. So just keep that in mind while we watch this clip, okay, guys? Here we go.
So let me explain what the fund is. People have been hurt so badly by radical left lunatics that worked for the Biden administration and Sleepy Joe. They're vicious, they're violent, what they did to people. And of course, they went after me more than anybody else. They raided Mar-a-Lago and all the other things. But people have been badly hurt. They've committed suicide. They've lost their jobs. They've lost their families. They've lost their wives. They've lost everything. They've lost everything over a fake weaponization of government. Now,
so
let me just tell you.
Are you looking for a way to revive it?
Well, look, if it was up to me, I'd pay them the kind of money that they deserve. People have been destroyed. Lives have been destroyed. Many suicides. Think of it. People have committed suicide because a bunch of thugs went after them. So, me, personally, I think the weaponization fund is a great idea. And so do many other Republicans. You have to get it approved. If they get it approved, that's great. If they don't get it approved, I'd be disappointed.
All right, we're going to motor through this.
But you have to understand,
guys, that's the rain in the background.
Have been destroyed by crooked politicians, and they should be reimbursed for that.
Do you think anyone who attacked police officers on January 6th should get taxpayer money?
I wouldn't be inclined to say so, but I have to see it. I can tell you this, 97% of those people, you look at them, the FBI or whoever it was, because you had a lot of crooked cops, you had dirty cops. Comey was a dirty cop.
Well,
a guy like Bolton was a dirty cop.
But there's no evidence.
Wait a minute. Oh, you think Comey was a straight
people
cop?
Who pleaded guilty to assaulting police
Comey
officers.
was a dirty cop.
No,
they had FBI.
Assaulted police
Listen
officers.
to me. They had FBI agents ushering them into the building. They had FBI go into the building. Those people walking around, they're looking, oh, isn't this nice? They weren't in. They were being ushered into the building.
There's no evidence.
You had a bunch of dirty cops, and frankly, what they did was weaponization of our government.
But sir, there's no evidence of that. More than 1,000 people.
No, there's none. You know what you do? Try looking at the tapes one time.
Would you take it off the table?
Look at the tapes one time.
But 172 people did plead guilty to assaulting police officers.
You know why they pled guilty?
Should they be exempt?
Because they told they were going to jail for 15 years if they didn't.
Should they?
They pled guilty because they were frightened. They went down. They were ushered into a building. Many of them were arrested without even going into the building.
You'd be okay with them receiving taxpayer dollars?
The people were destroyed by dirty cops and by weaponization. Many of those people should be compensated. Now, with that being said, as I understand it, the weaponization fund was going to set up a group of people, people that could be picked by anybody, fair people, smart people, and they will go on an individual case basis.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the weaponization fund. I love the idea because people like you, the fake, dirty press, the crooked press, people like stupid Biden, he's not smart enough to know what's going on, but people that surrounded him, surrounded his beautiful, resolute desk in the Oval Office, what they did to the lives of people, they destroyed people. They sent people to jail who did nothing
All
wrong.
right, just to be very clear, there's no evidence of what you're saying. But
There's
let me
a
ask
lot
you
of
about
evidence.
Todd Blanche. Let me ask you about
Listen
Todd
to me.
Blanche.
Listen to me.
Let's talk
There's
about Todd
tremendous evidence. There's nothing
What's
but
not been
evidence. The
presented in
election
a
was
court of
rigged.
law.
It was a dirty election.
Mr.
And it's
President,
happening again right now in California.
You've never presented evidence
It's happening
that the
right
2020
now in
election
California.
was rigged.
Right now, it's look at what's
Where's
happening
the
in
evidence
California.
to that?
It's
The
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. It's no, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with
That's how they
it.
count
You know
the
why they're
votes in
doing that? Because
California.
they're cheating on the election.
What? Do you have evidence to support
All I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not
and I
evidence.
listen. And I listen to people. And let's see what happens.
But sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's
and
appropriate
That's how they
that they
count the votes in
Do you
California.
think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a
State
winner?
and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging
They're
the
crooked.
votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well,
continue.
you play right into their hands.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
Let's
you play
continue.
right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But Mr. President,
you know why I
you've
got
never
that?
presented
Because you have no
evidence.
credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd
You
Blanche.
have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about
elections
You
in
went
this
to
country, we're
court.
like a third world country.
But, sir-
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked,
Mr.
and so
President-
is ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But, Mr. President-
You're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits, because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the
traveled
rain with
all
you.
the- I know.
I've sat in the
traveled
rain
all the
with
way
you
to
for an hour,
Wisconsin.
on and off in the rain.
Unbelievable. There's no evidence of that. There's no evidence of that. There's no evidence of that. Did you hear what he said? He said, let's see what happens. CJ said over there on X, the symbolism of the UFC fight at the White House is loud, sets the feel of what's coming, plants the seeds. Absolutely. Yeah, Whip and Spur over there on Rumble says, who gives a rip if you traveled? Exactly. It's like, oh, but I've traveled all this far. Hey, Minimi66 over there on Rumble, thank you for checking in. Who cares? I don't care what you've done. That's your job as a reporter, is to travel wherever POTUS is. Yeet Force says, good walk at TF out POTUS. You don't need her. Absolutely. Jennifer over there on X says, he said there is nothing but evidence. Absolutely. That is correct. All these people are going to get their what for very, very soon. Gunther says, chaos in the Middle East. Israel and Iran are trading heavy fire overnight. The most intense strike in months. Ballistic missiles raining down on Israel. Sirens blaring across Tel Aviv. Millions in bomb shelters. Israel hitting back hard with airstrikes on Iranian military targets, air defense, and even a petrochemical plant. Hey, Pam Tate, thank you for checking in over there on pilled.net. Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there on pilled.net, guys. They're saying that there's having a repeating problem. It's not on my end. I am green light on my end, and nobody else is having any issues on the other platforms. So if you want to hop over to my Rumble channel, or you can hop in on my X channel, YouTube, it's at Tracing Justice. Just look that up. Hey, JJ White 63, thank you for checking in on Rumble. This all kicked off after the IDF struck Hezbollah strongholds in Beirut. Iran and its proxies, Houthis too, launched dozens of missiles. The ceasefire is dead. It's a full multi-war front again. I don't agree with that. I think what they're doing right now is they know the peace deal is imminent, and Israel is doing everything in their power by the rogue forces over there in Israel to stop what's coming. But nothing can stop what's coming. Let's watch this quick clip.
Overnight, testing the already fragile ceasefire with the most strikes we have seen in months. President Trump posting to Truth Social just a few minutes ago saying, quote, Israel and Iran must immediately stop shooting.
Nice try. It's not going to work. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yinks is live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Trey.
Yeah, guys, good morning. An eventful 24 hours.
Hey, Neville.
Across the
Good
Middle
morning.
East. Just last hour, more explosions reported in the Iranian capital of Tehran as Israel goes on the offensive, responding to waves of ballistic missiles that were fired at this country overnight. This all started yesterday afternoon when the IDF struck the Lebanese capital of Beirut, hitting the Dahya neighborhood, a Hezbollah stronghold. Iranian officials later threatened to target Israel and then launched waves of ballistic missiles toward the northern part of this country, sending hundreds of thousands of people into bomb shelters. Now, as those missiles were soaring through the skies of Israel, I was on the phone with President Trump getting his reaction. He said, what I would suggest to Iran, you've shot your missiles, that's enough. Get back to the table and make a deal. Israel later launched a series of airstrikes against central and western Iran, going after military targets and air defense systems there. They later hit a petrochemical plant in the western part of Iran. The Iranians responded with more waves of ballistic missiles against this country, and the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen also launched 2 missiles towards central Israel, triggering sirens in Tel Aviv. A lot of kinetic action overnight. Back and forth sirens sounding across this country, millions of people in bomb shelters, and the region now waits to see if there will be more Iranian fire in the hours ahead. Guys?
So right now, Trey, what is Israel on war in 2 fronts? Is it also hitting back? So it's hitting back not only in Israel, it's hitting back inside
Hey,
Lebanon,
Fab60,
right?
thank you for checking in on Rumble.
Yes, this remains a multi-front war, and we should be very clear here. The ceasefire is over. Iran is launching dozens of ballistic missiles at this country. The Israelis are conducting
Hey, Husky, thank you for
airstrikes
checking in over
across
there on
Iran.
YouTube.
This is not a ceasefire. This is a return to war. President Trump is calling on both sides to stop shooting. He would like to see a return to the negotiating table and reach a diplomatic solution to end the regional conflict. When I spoke with the president last night, he told me he was not happy that the Israelis struck the Lebanese capital of Beirut. That led to this exchange of fire. When you talk with Israeli officials, they say we've been coming under Hezbollah rocket and drone attacks and had no other option. But again, the president just minutes ago taking to Truth Social, calling on both Israel and Iran to cease fire. At this moment, the Israelis are facing incoming fire, not just from Iran, but also from Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, and that attack from the Houthis, which was very rare. We saw today the sirens sounding across Tel Aviv early this morning. It served as an alarm clock for the Israeli people here in Israel's second largest city. And we could hear the explosions in the distance as that incoming fire was shot down.
Trey, do you get the impression, I understand the goal of peace, and I think it's admirable that the president is trying to accomplish that. But since now that they have returned to the offensive campaign, it's only a matter of time before the United States has to respond as well. I mean, we do joint operations with Israel. Now that Iran is back in the game and not just Hezbollah, we're pretty much doomed to be able to be in the fight again as well, right?
Yeah, an Israeli military official tells Fox News this morning that the United States is helping with defense right now to shoot down some of this incoming fire. Remember, the Israelis not just have a tiered missile defense system that we'll go through very briefly here with the Iron Dome, David Sling, and the Arrow 2 and 3 systems, but they also have the U.S.-supplied Patriot and THAAD systems that can help to shoot down the fire here, but also in neighboring Jordan and regional countries that have U.S. systems. Right now, the Israelis are the ones conducting the airstrikes against Iran. The United States is not involved, according to our reporting at this hour. Now, certainly this could escalate. Iranian officials are already threatening to expand their missile strikes across the region and target critical energy infrastructure in the Gulf. Now, if that happens, you may see more direct involvement from U.S. Central Command and those U.S. forces that are spread throughout the region. Remember, more than 50,000 U.S. service members, along with destroyers and U.S. aircraft carriers, prepared if President Trump does order those strikes. But again, the latest thinking that we have from the president, just on Truth Social, he is calling on Israel and Iran to stop firing at each other. But at this point, the question is whether or not they're going to listen, because we are not looking at a small quarrel, an exchange of fire like we've seen in the Persian Gulf in recent weeks, where there are a few drones or missiles exchanged with a few airstrikes. This is a war right now, and we are looking at around 30 ballistic missiles that were launched into Israel and dozens of Israeli strikes that targeted the Iranian regime.
So I guess we're back to square one now, right? I mean, the president suggested that a deal was close, and he said, but, quote, now this takes place. He was also talking about the supreme leader says he's younger and he's more rational than his father, the Ayatollah. He said he is part of the talks. He says he's very badly injured, but he has not spoken to him directly. Trey?
Yes, and when I spoke with President Trump last night, he told me he thought a deal could be reached Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of this week. And now this happens. And so obviously there's a recalculation taking place. But the president has been working overtime to try and reach a diplomatic solution with the Iranians that would do a few things. It would open the Strait of Hormuz, ultimately address Iran's nuclear ambitions, and stop the rising regional tension. And the president still believes he can get this deal done. Remember, this is a president who has made difficult deals in the Middle East, including the one that ended the war between
Scout,
Israel
thank
and
you for
Hamas,
checking in on X.
Several months ago. And when we look at the situation now, this is, again, an off-ramp for the Iranian regime. And the president talked a little bit about this when I spoke with him last night. He said, look, if the United States were to return to bombing Iran, it would cause significant damage to the infrastructure of the country, and not just the infrastructure that supports the military, but also the civilian population there, around 90 million Iranians. And that is why the president so far has avoided hitting desalination plants, and he's not yet hit those power plants that he spoke about a couple of months ago at the end of Operation Epic Fury, understanding that this would unravel the situation even further. And he wants to exert all effort possible to reach a diplomatic solution before returning to military combat operations. Now, again, at this moment, the war has resumed in limited capacity, specifically between Iran and Israel. The president is calling on both sides to stop firing. But we know, according to the Israeli military, around 30 incoming ballistic missiles were counted by forces here, and the Israelis have launched dozens of strikes against the Iranians.
So they know that the peace deal is coming. Israel does not want a peace deal. But remember what Trump said this weekend. They will do whatever it takes, or they will do whatever I say. They have no choice but to accept the peace deal. Yeah, Glenn says that on YouTube says this is showing the world that Israel does not want peace. That is correct. You know, there's rogue elements. I honestly believe that we have Israel somewhat under control. Trump's alluded to it over and over and over and over. But there's still rogue elements out there. And we know reports just in, reportedly 2 Iranian air bases have been completely destroyed in what's being called the deadliest strike on the regime yet, with several top leaders reportedly eliminated. It's going to come to an end, people. You heard Fox News? They're saying, oh, this is an all-out war. People, we do not have boots on the ground. There is not one boot on the ground that we know of in Iran. They want to turn it into a war, but did you hear what President Trump was saying this weekend? This is an operation. This is not a war. Everybody's saying, oh, this is turning, yeah, 10-15. It's an operation. Absolutely. This has been going on for 3 months. Hey, Marnie, thank you for checking in over there on Facebook. It's been going on 3 months. How long did the Iraqi war take? How long were we over in Afghanistan? And people are losing their minds over this 3-month period. They're trying to push it that President Trump is a warmonger. He's not. He's trying to get peace in the Middle East. He's trying to get the nuclear dust. He's trying to clear it all up. Whip&Spur123 says it's always been an operation just under faction of a plan to save the world. Absolutely. Nick Sorter says, leftist rioters absolutely rage as employees of ICE Delaney Hall confiscate their barricades. Employees were even openly mocking the rioters. These guys are finally being allowed to hit back at the degenerates who's been tormenting them for weeks.
Back up. Take off your mask. Relax. Take it easy. Relax. Relax. Cocksucker. Relax. Shut the fuck up. Take it easy. Relax. Shut the fuck up. Sorry. You're good. Fuck you! One ball. You guys can stand to the side, please. You're gonna stand out on here. Stand over here. Hey, back up, please. Back on the right. Back up. Pick that up, bitch. Pick that up, bitch. Move it, bitch. Move it. Pick that up, bitch. Pick that up, bitch. Pick that up, bitch.
He's a private citizen off the property! Their security guards off the property! Off the property! Touch us off the property, you'll be sued! Oh my God! Fall back, Gio. Get your mask back on, bitch. Let's go. Fall back. Fall back. Back up. Thank you. Thank you. Back up.
That's amazing. Yeah. Minami66 says on Rumble, they can't handle reality. Absolutely. So I want you to realize something, though. You know, it's easy to laugh about this stuff, but what you need to look at is that, did you see those barriers and those blockades and everything? If this was truly organic and not funded, do you know how much those things cost? First and foremost, those barrels, those things cost about $500-$600 a piece. Easy. Do you see those orange barricades with the fences built into them? That was the rioter stuff. That wasn't ISIS stuff. So they're confiscating all these barricades and everything to keep ICE from going in and out of the facility. So if it was truly organic, do you think that these rioters would put that much money into those barricades? Think Soros. All funded by George Soros. Real AF Patriot says Nancy Mace is delusional. She believes that President Trump didn't endorse her because she voted to release the Epstein files. Bye-bye, Nancy. And before I play this clip by Real AF Patriot, I've said numerous times, you all may like somebody, but you have a short memory on what they're really about. They'll say things in the moment that makes you think that they're MAGA, that makes you think that they're for President Trump. But guess what? President Trump has it all. He knows everything there is to know about good old Nancy Mace. He didn't endorse her for a reason, whatever that reason may be, but I believe she's FAGA. 100%.
You know, I knew it was on the line when I voted to release the Epstein files, and I'm a survivor. If the price to pay for an endorsement was to not release those files, I would never pay it. So I knew it was on the line, and I disagree with this endorsement, and I'm going to vote for myself. I'm asking voters in South Carolina to vote for me as well on Tuesday. And I mean, we're crushing it right now, working really hard.
Nancy Mace isn't going to make it out of this primary. Not going to do it. So if you're joining us for the first time on Dawning Justice, and you're watching on Rumble, YouTube, X, wherever, please consider subscribing to us and liking our show. We very, very much appreciate all the help that you give us because, you know, if you subscribe to our show, you know, just by following us, you can get alerts from when we go on because we all rely on these algorithms. It's time to start bypassing these algorithms. Just like and subscribe to us on YouTube, on Pilled, wherever you're at, on X, Rumble, whatever. So we very much appreciate all of your like and subscribes. I appreciate it. All right. Real AF Patriot says, will California bring down the House? We were told to watch California. Well, now the world is watching. Trump and the military needed a recognizable, likable candidate who could win the hearts of liberals, and they found out with Spencer Pratt. All eyes are now on the rigged election in California, and everyone sees it. People who never gave a crap before are watching what they are doing to their boy Spencer Pratt. And now President Trump is going to destroy them. People need to be shown, not told.
It was a dirty election.
Mr.
And it's
President,
happening again right now in California.
You've never presented evidence
It's happening
that the
right
2020
now in
election
California.
was rigged.
Right now, look at what's
Where's
happening in
the evidence
California.
to that?
It's
The
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. No, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with it.
That's how they count
You know
the
why
votes
they're doing
in
that?
California.
Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
All I have
that?
to do is look. All I have to do is
that's
look.
not
And I
evidence.
listen. And I listen to people. And let's see what happens.
But, sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's
and
appropriate
That's how they
that they
count the votes in
Do you
California.
think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a
State
winner?
and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging
They're
the
crooked.
votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. then.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
Let's
you play
continue.
right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But, Mr. President,
you know why I
you've
got
never
that?
presented
Because you have no
evidence.
credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd
You
Blanche.
have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about.
elections
You
in
went
this
to
country,
court.
we're like a third world country.
But, sir-
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked,
Mr.
and so
President-
is ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But, Mr. President-
You're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits, because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat.
I know we kind of watched that already, but I wanted to watch it one more time to just kind of hit home the point that everything is on full display now. The people that don't pay attention or haven't been paying attention are paying attention now. The world is watching, and we've all got a front seat to it. So Whip and Spur 123 comes in, gifted 5 subscriptions to the Tracing Justice channel. Thank you so much for that, Whip and Spur. And looks like Bibby's Barn and Minami 66, Fire in 8, American Gigi, and Dieter 7757 claimed those gifts. So Whip and Spur 123, thank you. Thank you so much for contributing and helping keep the lights on here on Dawning Justice. Wall Street Ape says FDA commissioner interviewed talks about how humans were never supposed to eat ultra processed foods, and it's making us very sick. In the last 40 years, the United States has been exposed to something that our biology was never intended to handle. Energy dense, highly palatable, rapid absorbable, ultra processed foods that have altered our metabolism and have resulted in the greatest increase in chronic disease in our history. Type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, hypertension, abnormal lipids, fatty liver, heart attacks, stroke, heart failure. From our food. Ultra-processed foods are what is known as Group 4. This means industrial formulations with many ingredients, often including additives, flavorings, emulsifiers, and extracts not typically used in home cooking. Example, sodas, packaged snacks, ready meals, sugary cereals, most fast food, and reconstituted meats. These foods are engineered for hyperpalatability. Engineered is code for a science experiment on fake food.
40 years, the United States has been exposed to something that our biology was never intended to handle. Energy-dense, highly palatable, rapidly absorbable, ultra-processed foods that have altered our metabolism and have resulted in the greatest increase in chronic disease in our history. Type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, hypertension, abnormal lipids, fatty liver, heart attacks, stroke, heart failure. From our food. From our food.
What's really crazy about this is how widespread the ultra-processed food is now. We are now in the U.S. consuming 60% of our diet as ultra-processed food. And here's what's really, really shocking. It's when you go down and you look at the 10 worst ultra-processed foods, you realize it's basically everything that we eat. It means it's soda, energy drinks, fruit drinks, processed meats, which is just basically all the meat we eat on a daily basis, snacks, all the most famous snacks, chocolate, candy, cereals, frozen meat, which millions of Americans eat daily, ice cream, cookies, instant soups, plant-based meats. We all hate those, of course, because of Bill Gates. But I mean, if you think about this, this is the majority of what Americans consume, and that's the problem.
So I wanted to do, I did a little experiment. We made some spaghetti the other night. And, you know, we all buy the packaged pasta, you know, the dry pasta we put in the thing and we boil it and all that. Okay. So what I did is I left it out. I didn't put it in the fridge after we were done with it. I left it out. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that after 1.5 days, that there was mold all over it? That it didn't even resemble what we ate. And ladies and gentlemen, we used ragu. We used the store brand noodles. And we used meat straight from the meat department in our local grocery store, not Walmart or nothing like that. I don't think it was the meat. I think it was the noodles. Absolutely disgusting. And I told Tracy, and I said, I don't think this is normal. Eat Force says over on Rumble, our food is just powders, chemicals, and overbred meats with more chemicals to make it all safe. So, while we eat all this food, that is not good for us, because let's just face it, we don't have time to make, 3-4 course meals straight from, scratch and sourcing all the time really good ingredients. We have this little thing called life and work that we do. And it's hard. It's hard finding time to do all this. Yeah, Minami66 says homemade pasta, make your own. Make your own sauce from your garden. If you don't know how, learn. I believe that's coming. And I believe that, and I'm not sexist, guys, okay? There's a reason why that they wanted to take the women out of the homes and put them in the workforce. It's all connected, okay? And I'm not saying that women have to do this, because guys cook. I cook all the time. But 40s, 50s, the women stayed at home with the children, instilled the necessary values, teachings, cooking. But the women don't have the time for that anymore. So we send our kids to daycare. We order takeout. We have DoorDash. We have Walmart delivery. Yeah, Whip and Spur says, have you ever ate fries in the car and dropped them in between the seats? Look a month later. They don't even mold and they are petrified. Yeah, Cynthia says exactly, all by design. So it's crumbled our family unit. It's crumbled our time that we have to cook wholesome meals for our family. Because that stuff does take time. So what do we do now? We buy Hungry Man's. We buy Hungry Man's and pop them in the microwave. Oh, the air fryer. You get a bunch of pizza rolls. And you pop them in the air fryer. It's all by design. So I say this because remember me telling you about turn off your check engine light. We have high blood pressure. We start, getting spots all over us. We start maybe getting an unexplained sore or whatever. That's your body telling you something is wrong. Something is out of balance. Check out justiceshrooms.com. God gave us the medicines that we need in our food. Spammy says, I live on pizza rolls. I used to too. I can't anymore. I can't do it. I'm going to die if I don't change the way that I eat. But let's watch this quick clip about turkey tails and about what our good friends over at Pet Club 24/7 have to offer.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolus versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
So guys, check it out. justiceshrooms.com. That's my link to go into Forest Natural by Pet Club 24/7. The one thing I did want to quickly talk about, and then we'll move on back into the news. This is the Enforced Clarity. This is what Tracy has been taking as well. She says it has helped her tremendously in her brain fog that she has and being able to remember stuff. So check it out. And it's the lion's mane. And remember, guys, all of this is USA based, sourced, packaged. Any ingredient never comes from outside the United States. Supports healthy brain function, supports healthy nervous system, supports healthy stomach and colon, non-GMO, 100% vegan, 100% natural, gluten-free, and it's also made in an FDA registered facility. Certified CGMP compliant, and it's all made in the USA. So check it out, justiceshrooms.com and justicepetclub.com for your little furry friends. All right, guys. So thank you, Whip and Spur, for donating 10 more subscriptions to the channel. And let's see who grabbed those. Well, I think my thing's a little messed up. So thank you so much, Whip and Spur, for that. I very, very much appreciate that. Glenn Hungen says, dandelions. Who decides what a plant is and what is a weed over there on YouTube? That's a good point. That's a very good point. What do you think about that? Let's go into some Stephen Miller news. Oh, Whip and Spur. Yeah, I think my little reporting thing is off. So yeah, she said I didn't do that. Okay. So and we know says Stephen Miller exposes the Democrat immigration scheme. And let's watch this quick clip. Well, there we go.
Is it for your audience perfectly, Sean? This was not a loophole. The Biden administration, Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas, devised a scheme to fly illegal aliens into the country and then to escort them en masse across the border by the millions, and to give them something known as parole, which gives them a work permit, which gives them a social security number, which gives them access to the voting booth. This was the plan all along, to get them here illegally so they can get free government benefits, get hooked to welfare, and be able to participate in American elections. This was an attack on democracy by the Democrat Party. It's the same attack that we see, Sean, when you have California, a sanctuary state, that is refusing to turn over even illegal alien criminals and gang members to ICE. So these are illegal aliens in California who have been arrested by California police, by California law enforcement for serious crimes, for crimes against children, for felonies, for crimes that threaten public safety, and they are refusing to hand these criminal illegal aliens over to ICE. Instead, they're freeing them back into the cities to offend and offend again. By any definition, what California is doing is criminal. It is a violation of our laws. It is one of the most heinous things that I have seen in my entire...
The wall is bigger than you could ever imagine. And Rhea, thank you so much for gifting 5 subscriptions to the Tracing Justice channel. And Andrea, Julie, KC, Whip and Spur, and Mary Cullinup received those. So thank you so much for that gift to the Tracing Justice channel. I very, very much appreciate that. Donald J. Trump come in just a little bit ago. Both sides, Israel and Iran, are looking to do an immediate ceasefire. Final negotiations on peace are proceeding subject to ignorance or stupidity getting in the way. The blockade will remain in place and full force in effect until a final deal, quote, is reached. Things should move quickly. Thank you for your attention on this matter. President Donald J. Trump. So, I don't know if you guys are paying attention on the Ukraine front. Things are quickly deteriorating for Ukraine. They have no more soldiers. They're getting wiped out left and right. Now they don't have any money coming in. Now they don't have any weapons coming in from the United States. They're panicking. Last week I showed you a clip where they're basically begging us for money and begging us not to forget about them. Even though we've got the Iran situation going on, they're like, don't forget about us. We need it. Yeah, Jennifer over on X says, peace, final deal, in quotes. Let's watch this clip on really what is going on in Ukraine.
В Україні два табори. Один за мир, інший за війну. І пора уже про це говорити відкрито. Останніх вірю менше, однак вони голосніші за будь-кого. А вже ж, за ними величезні гроші на пропаганду і, головне, дозвіл на безкарність. В них тисячі куплених голів, корисних ідіотів
Sienna, good morning.
і заляканих в безнадії людей. Вони готові залякувати, цькувати, надсилати ботів,
Morning, you Dutch
перетворити
rumbler.
половину нації на ворогів народу, повчати, моралізувати, навчати вас, що ваші сини мають загинути за державу. Переконувати, що якщо ви хочете завершення війни, ви якісь не такі, дурненькі, якщо не божевільні. Вони переконують, що корупції не існує, що всі українці повинні бути бідними, що ТЦК, яке виловлює чоловіків як звірів, відоме катуваннями і порушеннями прав людини, це не лише наші галюцинації, а справжня російська пропаганда, що мир неможливий тільки через Путіна, що найкращий герой – мертвий, а всі, кого показують по телевізору, говорять правду. І ще ось цей меседж «Потерпіть ще трохи, ще кілька місяців і ми виграємо, ще півроку і в Росії закінчаться ресурси, ще рік і закінчиться війна». У кожної диктатури була своя пропаганда. І в кожної вона працювала за одним принципом – критиків замовкнути, знищити, зацькувати, а медійну систему наповнити потрібними людьми і меседжами. Що ж, цього літа буде здійснено останню в цьому році спробу завершення війни. Це буде представлено як тиск США, образа українського народу, особливо Володимира Зеленського, співпраця з Росією і так далі. Помічається тільки негативне, і тільки тоді, коли треба на когось спихнути відповідальність. А винні у Володимира Зеленського, якщо ви не помітили, усі. Винен Байден, що кричав про війну і сіяв паніку. Винен Захід, що не дав вчасно зброї. Винен Трамп, що вів перемовини з Путіним і намагався всадовити за стіл переговорів. Винні українські чоловіки, які не хочуть іти на фронт. Винні біженці, бо виїхали, наче не патріоти. Винні критики, бо саме через них ми програємо. Винні заступники міністрів, міністри, багаторічні партнери, які попалилися на корупції. Не винні тільки двоє людей, яких називати не буду. Так от, цього разу будуть винні всі знову. А у Володимира Зеленського буде вибір – або знову затягнути війну, або вчергове зіграти нещасну жертву, яка під тиском робить непростиме. Нам пропонують різні варіанти закінчення війни. Але наше керівництво відмовляється від усіх. Плата за продовження війни буде одна. Знову ріки крові українців, знову страшнюча зима, без електрики і опалення, знову сотні тисяч біженців. І так, якщо цього літа не буде мирної угоди, хоча б якоїсь, хоча б хвосткого перемир'я, хоча б припинення повномасштабних обстрілів, то війна йтиме щонайменше до березня. Адже США, єдиний можливий медіатор і впливовий гравець, будуть зайняті виборами в Конгрес і Сенат. А потім зимові свята, а потім і 5 роковини війни. Нам усім скажуть потерпіти ще кілька місяців. І вчергове розкажуть, як Росія розвалиться от-от уже зараз. Люди, які прописують ці меседжі, не дурні. Вони просто впевнені, що дурні всі ми з вами.
Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Russia is a power, superpower in the world. Ukraine is a quarter of the size of Russia with an eighth of their population. There is no possible way that Ukraine could ever come out on the other side of this conflict winning. We all know why we're over there. We're over there to take out the deep state hub. The people are getting sick of it over there. They're tired of it. And now the grift is up in Ukraine. And now they're going to crumble. They're going to have no choice but to give in at this point. Wouldn't it be amazing if Iran says, okay, we're going to make a deal. We're going to sign on the dotted line. We're going to make a deal. At the same time, Ukraine says, we're going to make a deal. And what if POTUS has a huge summit and flies over there to sign peace deals left and right? By the time POTUS returns, the world will be a much, much different place. Q drop 75. Go take a look at it. See what you think, guys. Real AF Patriot says, the money never lies. Let's watch this clip on Kash Patel.
And as this was taking place this week, there was also a superseding indictment announced for the Southern Poverty Law Center, the SPLC. The allegations are shocking in it. I want to pull some of them up. These F-31 and F-32, these are informants, as the SPLC calls them. In other words, people working at hate groups. What they found was the SPLC reimbursed for wood and fuel used in cross-burning events. They also secretly paid an individual who was taking donor money and who was convicted of cross-burning. And on top of that, the SPLC had an informant who was taking in over $1.2 million in donors' money, who was dating an employee at SPLC while raising funds for the hate group. This is astonishing. You guys found this, but this has been going on for years.
We did something that other administrations refused to do. We followed the money. And Kaylee, you know why we follow the money? Because money doesn't lie. And we don't reverse engineer these investigations and prosecutions. We follow the money. We followed it through the SPLC. And just think of the irony here. And Kaylee, you know this better than anyone else. The mainstream media exploded on us when we dared to go after, quote unquote, the SPLC and the saviors of civil liberties. Well, look at what the money says, not what I say. Look at what the grand jury said. The money from this organization was directly funding the hate groups they were supposedly going after. Like you said, paying for wood, for cross burnings, paying for roads, paying for informants. They intentionally set them into motion to then ignite these hate groups that they were supposedly defending America from, creating a huge fraud and embezzlement campaign. And these indictments and these investigations, which we are speaking through publicly, are very much in the beginning stages. We are going to continue this investigation and know everyone that was involved in this offensive conduct, criminal conduct, is going to be brought to justice, because we're going to follow the money, and the money never lies. And that's what pisses off the mainstream media the most. It's because we caught them at their epicenter of fraud and deceit when they told the American public they were supposedly standing up for minorities and racial division.
Q drop 19. Why do D's want to control the black population? Why do they intentionally keep poor and in need? Why do the D's project racism on a daily basis against ours? Why do black elected officials do the crazy talk on behalf of the D's? How do D's cover the historical facts of forming of the Confederacy, KKK, and oppose all things pro-black RE legislation? What happens if the D's lose the slave grip on the black population? Why do D's, through the funding of the CIA, think Southern Poverty Law Center, it's just an arm, prop up and install Hollywood media assets? Does this fall within Operation Mockingbird? What were the historical advantages D's gained by having MSM and famous people peddling a narrative? Who exposed the pedo network within Hollywood? You can't answer the above, but we'll laugh once disclosed details. Think Nicki Minaj. The network which controls this false narrative, which in turn keeps the black population under control, is being dismantled. False local and national black leaders will expose next as shills for the D Party. Follow the money. Maxine Waters has a $4 million home and cash assets in excess of $6 million. How is that possible? One example. All of these questions help paint the full picture. And that was Q Drop 19. Follow the money It's key. The Southern Poverty Law Center has been about the black population. But what have they been doing? They've been funding the exact opposite. They've been funding the KKK. They have been funding all these militant groups. They've been funding cross burnings. Follow the money. It's key. Real AF Patriot also says, on the anniversary of D-Day, Pete Hegseth delivered a very powerful speech.
America will lead, and we must. But capable allies must be right there with us, shoulder to shoulder, in the breach, when it matters. In the years since these beaches, much of the West, in some places, in some quarters, and in some capitals, grew comfortable. We forgot that freedom is not free. We forgot that peace is not wished into being. It is bought with purpose, with honor, and with strength. The men who landed on these beaches knew this. The question we ask ourselves is, do we? It's past time we remember what they knew. Their legacy demands far more than quiet reflection. It requires our active vigilance. Sadly, today, different European beaches are stormed by different dangerous ideologies. Beaches in Spain, in Italy, in Greece, and Bulgaria. Boats and men arrive. When will European capitals do something about that invasion? Or is it too late? I pray not, and I believe not. The men who fought and died here restored freedom to Europe. That freedom must be maintained by this generation of leaders and warfighters, or what they fought for was merely temporary. As our great president Ronald Reagan once said, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. You don't pass it to the next generation in the bloodstream. It must be defended by each and every generation. We stand by our allies, and we expect our allies capable and ready to stand alongside us. The heroes of 1944 did that, and may we.
Ladies, did you hear a word he said? I was just telling Tracy the other day, and I said, they're on me about putting this hottie alert button in Rumble for our channel. And, I thought guys were bad. But Pete delivers a very, very powerful speech there. So thank you. And he has turned out to be an absolute gem. Incredible. Abby Blue Eyes says, all roads. Yeah, Tense 15 says, was he talking? You guys are awful. Abby Blue Eyes says, all roads lead to Obama.
Do you know where all of Iran's nuclear material is?
Yes. Yes.
Would you unfreeze any Iranian assets or lift any sanctions up front as a part of any deal? So that would come after.
Comes after, yeah. If
they
behave,
turned
if they do
over
a good
their
job, we
nuclear
start
enrichment
talking, yeah.
material.
Unlike Obama. Obama flew a Boeing 757, a plane I know very well. They took the seats out and they loaded it up with $1.7 billion in cash from the banks in Maryland and Virginia and D.C. They emptied out the banks, and they gave them 1.7 in green, and they gave them tens of billions of dollars, just kept giving them money, and it didn't work.
There's a reason POTUS keeps hammering this over and over and over to the American people. He knows exactly where Pamela, thank you for that. Over there on X. My hubby is cuter. But anyways, back to this. POTUS knows exactly what's going to happen. They're going to make the deal. We're going to get the dust. It's going to trace back to Hillary Rodham Clinton and Obama's State Department. All the roads lead back to Obama. Last news of the day. Fox News, F you, first of all. Representative Lauren Boebert unleashes against Fox News digital reporter after being asked about an affair allegations between her and Representative Thomas Massie, an incumbent critic of President Trump who lost his Kentucky primary race last month.
Fuck you, first of all. If you're gonna bring me into this, like, this sexist stuff is like out of control. So there's your clickbait that you were looking for. And
a lot of people.
I don't want to talk about anybody's exes and their crazy that they do.
I'm telling you, all this FAGA is finally coming out. Yeah, Freedom Fire says they won't be able to walk down the streets. Absolutely. It's going to get worse for them, too. Just wait till more disclosure comes out. Wait till FISA starts. Wait till the whole country knows exactly what they did to President Trump. K9 Andrea said, they are exposed. Tent says, nice mouth, young lady. That's why you got to be so careful. And listen, I'm going to get on my soapbox just for a second. Okay, just hear me out. I know a lot of you have already heard this, but there's a lot of people joining us today that have never seen Dawning Justice. Trust President Trump's picks. Trust his endorsements. I have a prominent anon in this community, in our community, that blocked me for saying to support Steve Hilton. I don't recall ever thinking that I know more than President Trump does. If Trump comes out and says, I endorse this person, you go vote for this person, I'll be damned if I get on social media and start a campaign pushing against President Trump's endorsement just because I think that this is mental gymnastics. Oh, we're pushing this person out into the light. Guys, that crap is over with. This is go time. This is the midterm elections. This is for all the marbles. This is for everything, ladies and gentlemen. You do not know more than President Trump does. This whole mental gymnastics things about pushing people out into the light and, oh, well, this candidate is better. Listen, they may be a great candidate, but there is a reason that President Trump did not give them their endorsement. Are they secretly FAGA? Are they doing stuff behind the scenes that we just don't know about, but they talk a good game? Can they even win in the general? Do they even have enough support out there to win in the general election if they were to win their primary? Do you honestly think that President Trump is going to risk his record of endorsements for pushing somebody out into the light? When is the last time, I know there's been one example of this in the whole time that I've known President Trump, that he has recalled an endorsement. One. So I question you and your discernment if you come out and start making this campaign against President Trump's picks or his cabinet members or whatever. There's a plan to this, people. I'm not privy to it. You're not privy to it. Trump has it all. He has the full weight of the NSA behind him. He has the full weight of Palantir behind him. He has the full weight of the U.S. government and all of its intelligence agencies. He has it all. So when he comes down and says, I'm endorsing Byron Donalds for Florida governor, there's probably going to be active psyops against Byron Donalds out there. I don't know what President Trump's plan is on Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds, sorry, not Brian. Byron Donalds. I don't know. Is he controlled at this point? Will he do as President Trump tells him to do? I know there was a psyop against Ron DeSantis out there. Look at Ron DeSantis now. Don't fool yourselves. Especially Anons have been in this movement for a long time. That you know more than President Trump does, and you're misleading people out there. Trust the man. Trust the plan. It's all over the drops. Trust the plan. Trust the plan. The administration. Hey, Grace, thank you for checking in over there on Pilled. Byram has a real past. Guys, listen, everybody's got a past. President Trump has got a past. President Trump is putting his support by Donalds. So why would you go out there? Can Bobby Williams? Never heard of the dude. Can he win in the general? That's what you have to think about, people. You've got to be able to win in your general election. Hey, thank you, EC Was Here, for your raid over on pill.net. I appreciate that, guys. You may not like all of President Trump's picks. I know I don't, but I trust the man. Has Byron Donaldson, has he submitted? He could have. I'm just saying, guys, President Trump picks these people for a reason. I don't know what that reason is sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, why is he doing that? He knows more than I do, though, people. He very well have cut a deal with Donalds. Okay? Don't know. You all were reading all over Ron DeSantis this time, 4 or 5 years ago. We're all reading about him, but look at it now. You've got to be able to win in a general election. President Trump knows that. President Trump is not going to endorse somebody out there that is going to be an absolute train wreck for your state, especially Florida. I know you guys aren't happy about the whole Texas thing either. I get it. I understand. Guys, listen, I don't like Erica Kirk either. I don't. Okay? Something's going on there. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really care about Erica Kirk. I don't really care about Candace Owens. They're all shills in my book. Just trust President Trump. Now, if President Trump comes out in the next day or so and says, I'm pulling my support from Donaldson. I'm pulling it. Don't vote for him. Then don't vote for him. I trust my president. He knows a hell of a lot more. Okay, so I hear you, Courtney, over there on X. I hear you. Part of thinking for yourself is understanding Trump doesn't know the intricacies of local politics. He hears the polished version. I do not agree with that. If you follow the drops for any time, Trump has it all. He has the full weight of all the intelligence agencies behind him. He has the full weight of the whole political sphere of Washington and all of these states. He has it all. He knows who can win. He knows who can't win. He knows who he has to control. He has it all, and even on people like Donaldson. Okay? Don't give the left what they want. I understand Trump is not God. Okay? I get that, Courtney. I understand that. But who has brought us to the show? Who has never let us down yet? When we doubt President Trump, we come back weeks, we come back days, we come back months later and said, that's why he did it. I didn't know that. That's why he did that. Every single time. Trump has it all. That's all I'm going to say. Trump has it all. Patriot Drummer, thank you for checking in over there on pilled.net. I appreciate that. The water is so muddy and there's things that we don't know about. Through this time, I trust my president. I understand Jay Collins is a much better man, but can he win in the general election? No, he cannot. Trump has looked at the field, see who he can control. He has it all. And he sees who can win in the general election. That's who he puts it. Listen, God does not use perfect people either. Okay? There's very few incidences in this world where God picks perfect people and people that have been saints all of their lives to make a difference. President Trump is one of them. He does not have, he's got a sketchy past in some things. But overall, that man has been picked by God himself, in my opinion, to lead this country to where it needs to go. And through all of this noise going out there, and through all of this stuff going on out there, through all these influencer ops going out there and saying, don't trust President Trump, don't trust him, look here, look here, look here, da, 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 da. Are you going to trust influencers over President Trump? What has President Trump done that's so horrible that you can't trust his endorsements? He's draining the swamp, isn't he? You see arrests happening all over the place. You've got an anon community out there that is actively running ops against President Trump. He has it all. That's why President Trump says loyalty is going to be key right now, because you don't have all the information. You operate off of 20% of the intel that's available out there. 80% that we don't know about. We don't have the plan, people. We've got snippets of it through the drops. Trust the plan, trust the plan, trust the plan, trust the plan, trust the plan. Because we can't have it all. Whip and Spur says, be grateful, folks. Trump is once in a lifetime gift from God. I wholeheartedly believe that. Now, post-Trump, when things are cleaned up and more clear, yeah, I'm going to do some heavy digging into a lot of these candidates. But for right now, this is a military operation. I am not in the military anymore. You are not in the military. If you are, thank you for your service. But even if you are in the military, you don't have the plan. Trump does. Less than 10 do. 3 civilian, 7 military. This is a military operation. So I say that, and I'm going to leave it at that. If you think you know more than President Trump, you're fooling yourselves. Because time and time and time and time again, he proves us wrong when we doubt him. Every single time. I understand you operate off 100% of the local knowledge. I understand that. But there is a national aspect to this too. There are players in the shadows that you don't know about. How many FAGA have we uncovered out there that we thought that was on our side? Things are not as they seem. I'm not supporting Erica Courtney. I don't like her either. Okay? I don't know what's going on there. Don't really care what's going on there. It's not part of the plan. It's noise and not signal. The signal is President Trump's endorsements. Yeah, Glenn Huggins says, I did not like Marco Rubio when Trump first picked him. Look at him now. Was he controlled? Geek4 says, this is an op. It's more complex than any of us know. Why bring good, genuine person into this op? We have a future to set up. Absolutely. Yeah, that's fine. She can have her opinions. I get that, MAGA. I get that, MAGA man. But it's the people with the 40K foot view that rise above all the noise, that sees exactly what's going on. I understand that local elections are very, very important. But this is for a governorship. This is not just some little election at the county clerk's office. And see, that's the great thing about the United States of America. You can vote for anybody that you want to vote for. I'm going to trust President Trump. He's brought us to this show, and I trust him because I believe God has entrusted him with this country. All right, guys, I am going to end it there because we are 2 hours and 12 minutes in. So again, just like I said, I'll talk with people, that don't agree with me either, but I'm going to give you counterpoints. I'm going to give you the full 40K foot view. I'm going to give you the drops. That's our playbook. That's what was given to us. This is a military operation. Even locally, it's a military operation. There is a plan in place, and everything has a reason, and there's a reason for everything. Nothing is going to be left by chance this time. The war still rages on. All right, guys, I'm going to raid you. If you are in Rumble, I'm going to raid you over to the Real AF Patriots channel. He doesn't start until noon Eastern, so make sure that you go ahead and give him that thumbs up and come back at noon Eastern. He is part of our Truther Media network over there. And don't forget, if you want to see all of our Truther Media shows, just go to www.truthermedia.com. We have our full interactive guide there. We've got our America's 250 merch store up, so make sure you check that out as well. And mods, thank you so much for keeping the chats going and good and flowing. I very, very much appreciate everybody. And thank you for all of the gifts and subscriptions. If you do want to give to the channel and keep the lights on for us, just go to www.tracingjustice.com and hit how to give. That is your key to bypass all of this, Rumble taking money and, whoever gets their share, you can give directly to the Tracing Justice channel there on www.tracingjustice.com. So let's end in prayer. I want to thank everybody for coming, and I will be back at 8 a.m. Eastern. So let's go ahead and in prayer. Lord, I come to you in Jesus' name, Lord. Hallowed be thy name, Lord. I thank you for everything that you have given us, Lord. I thank you for the house that you've given us. I thank you for the computer that you've given us to be able to watch this stuff, our phones, our internet, our power, our water, our cars, Lord, our family, Lord, that loves us so much, our friends that love us so much, Lord. And I want to pray for our enemies too, Lord, that they come to know you, Lord, that they come to know Jesus Christ as their Savior if they do not already. And if they do, that they turn back to you, Lord. Lord, I want to pray for one person in particular, and you know who that is, Lord, speaking with him yesterday. Lord, I hope that he comes to drop to his knees and know you as his Savior and get direction in his life, Lord. I believe, Lord, that you've called him to a higher calling, Lord, and he needs you now more than ever, Lord. And Lord, I want to pray for everybody out there that's fallen on hard times, as we know money is tight out there, Lord. We struggle sometimes to put gas in our cars and to go to the grocery store, and sometimes we have to make choices. Do we get our medicines or do we eat that day? And Lord, I ask you that you give those people just a little bit of relief. Give them a helping hand, Lord, but we know it's all in your time, Lord. And we ask that you help the ones that going through the refiner's fire right now, Lord, that you're changing their lives right now. They may not know it, but you're always in the shadows working for them. Even if we can't see it, we appreciate everything that you do for us, Lord. And I thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, guys, thank you. Thank you so much. And I will see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. And remember, let's go make fishers of men. Let's go save some souls. And let's go save a republic. I'll see you later, guys.
You thought you could bury me. Thought the dark would close in. You were wrong, you don't know who I am, and you never will. You drew the line in the dirt and flame. They said I'd break, said I'd shame. Whispered threats through a locked back door, but I've heard sound before. You pushed and pulled, tried to crack my back, but I don't collapse like that. I don't run, I don't bend, I don't bow to fear of men. When the dust clears, you'll see you never buried me. We're not backing down, we're holding the line. Truth will be heard, not just whispered in time. You can't stop this, we will not fall. When justice rises, it answers the call. You thought you knew what I stood on, but this ground's been here too long. Stealing the blood, fire and breath. I don't scare easy at talk of death. You don't know the weight I carry, or the hand that stands behind me. You can shout, you can lie, try to crucify, but chains you swing and stones you throw only make the pressure grow. You don't know who I am. I don't stand alone. God holds my sword of truth.